Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by closersio, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Stephanie Zito, an internationally recognized psychic medium, integrative energy expert, and transformative business coach dedicated to helping women succeed and profit in business and life by harnessing intuition, mindfulness, and energy mastery. Stephanie, welcome to Founders Future.
Wonderful. Ammar, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
I'm excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning. Take me back to before you got into the world of coaching. What were you looking for? And then what really motivated you to step into this space?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have the traditional path, more of a winding path. I really came from a place of service. I was in the Peace Corps many moons ago in Uganda as a teacher trainer. And what I really recognized was there was so much money available for grant funding for development in a variety of ways within the community and the school systems and the up-leveling, especially for girls in Uganda at that time. And I really was there to see beyond the current state, see beyond what was available into the potential, like this huge field of potential. So I feel like that was like the spark of really being an entrepreneur, being so far away from any kind of boss. This is back in the day. There was no cell phones back then. There was one
Yeah,
phone in the entire town. And that led me to come back and get my master's degree in conflict resolution. So I think for me as an entrepreneur, as a coach, I'm really helping bridge the gap between where my clients are and where they want to be in terms of mindset and strategy, in terms of like their internal ecosystem and how that actually is indicated in their financial output. My meandering path really was moving into the space of what's called wilderness therapy. I lived in the outdoors in the under the stars for several years and was really helping young people to just make choices more aligned with themselves, away from drugs and alcohol and destructive behaviors, and to be honest, really more on a path aligned with them. That's what really became just the North Star for me working with these kids, was like, what do you really want? What, regardless of your parents or society, what about you? Regardless of what your peers say, what do you want? It really became the most important. I think all of those things led me into this place. When I found out about coaching, I was like, oh my gosh, like that sounds like me. When it was time, that's really what I dove into.
that's awesome. So it sounds like you've always had a natural calling towards helping
Mhm.
people bridge that gap between where they are and where they want to go. I'd love to dive into the current offering and what your current focus is. Who would you
Mhm.
say right now is your ideal customer? Who do you love to work with?
Yeah, it's really like female founders and entrepreneurs that are in a space of scaling. And it's possible that, honestly, I feel like many of them are actually at an upper limiting belief where, to be quite honest, they're sabotaging themselves because they're almost afraid. They're literally afraid of what's going to happen when they grow. They can't really quite hold that space, maybe energetically, for what that really can look like or how they can do it by design. I think it's really that entrepreneur, maybe they've hit six figures and they're ready for that next phase, and they're very much mission driven. There's like really a lot of heart and soul to what they do. I think the mission is bigger than them in a sense.
That's powerful. So let's
Mhm.
say some of them are listening to this. What is the core offer? How can they actually work with you?
My core offer is a 6-month program where we dive into your energetics and strategy. The strategy is really helping you to design your ecosystem of your business and understand where the gaps are. Like if you think of the ecosystem, your energy is sun. If we block that, then what's going to grow? And a lot of times, like we're literally missing some piece of the pipeline that isn't functioning the way it could, or sometimes it's literally our own energy. And working with me, we actually also do energetic work through hypnosis
Mhm.
and through manifesting work. So we've got it's like a hybrid program working with me one-on-one and with a group, where I feel like that mastermind phase, we've got a cohort, we rise together.
Yes. Yeah, I love that you blend the two because
Mhm.
I'm very interested in hypnosis. I've been
Mhm.
doing, I don't know if Mind Valley and the same
Mhm.
method. So I've been
Right,
for
yes.
a long time and doing Joe
Mm.
Dispenza's meditations for a long time. So it's
Yeah.
powerful to combine the two Because
It
obviously
is.
strategy is great, and having the energetic side dialed in is also great. The
Mhm.
bridge the gap, it is very powerful.
I will tell you, I feel like it's the number one place where I've seen coaches or branding experts get out of their own way and move from $50,000 a month to like opening the floodgates and having a $300,000 week.
Wow.
And yeah, and because of the limiting, because of the gap, like for example, it's not really the strategy that's wrong. Like with one of my clients, the concern was when I hit that $1 million mark, people aren't going to love me. I'm going to lose my friends. They're going to think I'm too big. I've gotten too big. I'm going to lose them. So of course he's going to sabotage that growth. When we were able to resolve that, like that's the thing about Silva method, the hypnosis, Joe Dispenza, it's all like conflict resolution. Let's get it all on the same page. Let's have the subconscious feel just as supported as what we say. Like the conscious says, I want this, but the subconscious says, that's not safe. What, you're going to lose love? Why on earth would we do that? So instead of fighting against yourself, you get to be on the same page, working together.
I love that so much. I'd love
Mhm.
to shift a little bit to the back end of the business. When it comes to customer acquisition, so when you're looking to generate more leads for your offer,
Mhm.
what do you do in that point from a marketing perspective?
So what I found to be really effective, and again, what I feel like a lot of people are actually missing is to me, I love connecting. Like I'm just very real and I care, and I'm sure a lot of people out there listening care too. And the one thing that we're missing is the connection piece. And so in terms of client acquisition, I'm really focusing on Facebook and bringing people into my world through my group. And once you're in my group, we're like-minded and we're going from like cold. There's a lot of people out there. There's a big sea. So how can we move into a place of warmth and trust? And so I'm doing that through pretty much like a 5-day challenge
Nice.
sequence. Yeah. And so they're getting to have an experience with me where we say what it takes 7 hours sometimes of time before we really can trust someone and enter their world. And the challenge really helps take care of that because we're going to sleep, we're with each other again the next day, and then that moves into my world. So that tends to be what is working best for me. I do content, but I just don't rely on it exclusively.
Yeah, I love the Facebook group funnel. I'm very
Hmm.
familiar with that. We
Hmm.
implemented that in the beginning. That brought us to like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, that specifically. So that's very powerful. I'm curious,
Hmm.
so you have the 5-day challenge. Do you have setters in place for like DM setting or maybe just calling up the people that are part of the challenge? Is that part of the process as well, or is it just you handling it right now?
So currently I do have a VA that does a lot of the DM sequence. And then right now, when it comes to, I like, again, in terms of connection, having a triage call before we begin, mostly it's me doing that and also I have like an AI system for some of the DM sequencing just to help handle some of the beginning sequence and move it to the VA and then move it to me.
Okay, very cool. And I'm curious, have you ever thought about running ads?
It's interesting. In terms of some of the mentors that I've worked with, it's an area I've played with, but I really haven't just gotten fully comfortable with. Hear a lot of different things about ads and the effectiveness. I haven't really done too
Yeah,
much with that.
sure. The funnel obviously needs to be optimal to make it
Mm-hmm.
work. But I think
Yeah.
with your offer, because even as you were just speaking through with the energetics and the business strategy, I was thinking, I'm like, whoa, this is a great offer. This would crush on ads.
Oh, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk me through the sales process. So there's either the VA or yourself or the AI system. Then they get on a triage call, and that's typically you. And then what happens after that? Is that does it go to a 60-minute call from there? What does the process look like?
For some people, once they've moved through the challenge or like a boot camp, they just know they're ready. And so it's really pretty simple. We're just
Nice.
maybe getting on a call to do a payment or to set up a payment or just get a link set up. And for others that probably need a little bit more, I really enjoy my sales call process because I have a visual sales call method. And
Nice.
to me, it really helps to help overcome objections because a lot of times if someone's come that far, they really are interested in their growth. It's really just helping them to lean into the trust that this is a program that's going to work for them and they will be able to do the work. So I really enjoy that sales call method. It's very visual. And then I feel like I've done a lot of like personal learning to just really move into that space where I'm supporting someone for what they say they want for their highest good, knowing that sometimes like those jitters are going to come up or a little bit of that is going to come up and just help them walk through that.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool. I love the visual sales call method as well. If we're hopping on Zoom, I may as well share my screen and show you some of the
Mhm.
things, some of the back end, etc. It helps.
Yeah, and there's also this method to help them visually understand their goals, like where their big goals and even where like their level of commitment, what they've tried, and being able to see some actual testimonials from clients who have worked with me
Yeah,
and see my method. So it, I think secures just that trust.
100%. I'm curious for you, when you think of the vision and when you think about your goals and dreams and really where you want to take this company, what does that look like? Paint me that picture.
So that's interesting. I have this project I'm working on called Ignite Her Impact,
Mm,
and I'm still understanding exactly what it means, but I see it more as like a revenue sharing platform where we're helping especially women founders to just help support them with confidence, with business acumen, and also understanding investing so
mm,
that they can really thrive within their sole purpose.
cool.
Yeah, I think it's taking myself personally a little bit more out of the mix and just providing that broader platform. A little bit much like a Mind Valley.
Yeah, okay, very cool. What do you mean revenue sharing model though? I'm curious, like
That's what I'm also exploring as well. So, for
okay.
example, if you were someone who was on that platform, you would clearly get paid for your work. And I don't know exactly how that looks. Is it per click? Is it a pay per course? Like I really am just in the exploratory phase of how that actually
Yeah,
works. But I like the idea of just expanding the playing field.
yeah, I like that. That's very cool. And if you actually
Yeah.
look at some of the highest grossing VSLs, Mind Valley, I think, is one or two. I think it's actually one, two, and three potentially. They're a great case study to look at.
Yes, they're the kind of like that gold standard of when I think of creating something like this.
Yeah, very cool. What about for this offering though? What do you want the next 12 months to look like?
I really am looking at expansion and bringing my business to the next level, just really in terms of serving more people. It's highly possible just to bring on another coach to take over some of the work that I'm doing, who really understands the method and the model, and again provide some more leadership and expansion of the economics that way as well, just in terms of my hiring.
I love that. What do you feel like you need to put in place to serve more people, potentially bring on another coach, and essentially enroll more people into your program?
Yeah, I am looking at switching over systems, and then also it's interesting you mentioned an appointment setter. Is there some people who I think I'm looking to outsource a little bit more of what
Yeah.
I'm doing to just reach a broader audience?
Yes, 1000%. I highly recommend you outsource the setting ASAP.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And then eventually bring on a closer because we've worked with 3,000 coaches at this point. Typically, take yourself out of the sales, then take yourself out of the fulfillment.
Mm,
Essentially, you're a manager of your team at that point, and that's your main focus.
right.
Then you become a manager
Hmm.
of managers, and then you're the visionary, trailblazing, building, ignite her impact,
Right.
and scaling from there. That's exciting.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
I am curious if you could give yourself advice when you were first starting this. If you could go back
Oh.
and talk to your
It's and I don't know if this is more of like a thing that women go through because I definitely find it a little bit more with women than with men is just way more self-belief, raise my prices way earlier,
yeah,
just have more conversations, like worry less about the outcome and just literally have more conversations and just recalibrate as we go. Worry
yeah,
less about the exact outcome and just do it. Really just raise the prices, worry less.
yeah.
Just be in the ring.
What do you
Mhm.
do to, or what advice would you give for people to create more self-belief? Because I think that's a big thing. And
Mm.
a lot of business owners just like that's why the energetics is so huge. And I love that you have that as part of your offer because A lot of times
Mm-hmm.
it's not the strategy that's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
it's something internal.
I definitely would say work with someone like myself that can help you identify the blind spot. I really feel like it's just a blind spots within our own businesses. And that's one of my expertise is just I'll hear something or I'll catch something or we can hone right in on the piece that's missing. And otherwise, we're just going to keep repeating the same cycle that's serving us to keep us safer. I would say that to start. And then secondly, if you have a certain thing, you have a certain fear coming up, then hypnosis is incredibly effective to help assuage the subconscious or whatever it's holding on to from a past experience to keep you safe, to release that so it doesn't have to keep informing your decisions. And then with that, I think there's like a level of discipline, to be honest, just to like really dial in a strategy that you enjoy and stick with it instead of jumping around. Like we try something for a minute and then and skip over to something else that can really see over the arc of time the success of it or how to make some changes that we need to just by sticking with something. If you really hate it, then clearly try a different strategy. But I really like to learn and like to see a lot of different ways of doing things. And I can tell if something it just really doesn't like vibe with my personality. And also when it's just helpful to see something through over time.
Yeah, I love that. What is the best piece of advice you've received around scaling your company?
Ooh, the best piece of advice around scaling. That's a good question. I feel like I'm needing a minute to
Take your time.
think about that
Right.
one. I think honestly, it's really just again, I think it's just the stick with itness. It's just to not to shift. I really stick with, for example, Facebook, right? There was a time when I was like, I don't want to do Facebook, but stick with the thing for a while. Give it a good 6 months. Give it a good year. Stick with something and allow yourself to scale it because the thing is that there's a lot of times like things are cooking in the background and then you might actually have a big surge one month because of all the legwork you've been doing over the last 4 months. Give yourself that. And then also be ready to move into that next level of support a little bit before you're ready. There's always like this timing, this little seesaw of, am I ready to invest in that next level? Like you probably are. If you're already thinking about it, you probably should have done it 4 months ago.
Yes. I love that. Yeah, when you're just right on the edge, and I love that frame of thinking because I feel like to grow in business and in life, you have to be operating at your edge. Not too much where you feel like overwhelmed, this is oh my God, and not too little where you're just comfortable and you're coasting.
And that's one thing I see that a mistake I see people make is, and I think it's a comfort zone of spending a lot of money on the website, spending actually a lot of money on help they actually don't really need yet in the more beginning stages, when what they really need is just to be in front of more clients and they need a strategy that's gonna work for them to be in front of those people, to be making those connections. And if we're just quote unquote posting on Instagram or we're just thinking we can post, it's just not going to be in general. I'm not saying for everyone, but it's just not going to be enough. And also in terms of audience growth, not necessarily looking at the metrics of how many people we have, but what's our proximity with them? How close are they to us? Because the more trust we build, then they're just that much more likely to become clients of ours.
100%. Stephanie, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise, Ammar, thank you.
What is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
We can just find my website, stephaniezito.com, and there's a spot there to book a call with me. You can also get on my list and receive some wonderful benefits from being in my world. And come find me on Facebook. I'm just Steph Zito on Facebook.
Awesome. Beautiful. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go to stephaniezito.com. That's Stephanie, spelled how Stephanie is spelled, and then Zito.com. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closersio to hop on a call with our team and discover how we were able to go from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.